Hi, this is John St. Clair, and I'm here in the office of Dr. Suzanne Houff at the University of Mary Washington College of Graduate and Professional Studies. And today we're going to talk about classroom management. Dr. Houff, why is classroom management critically important for enhancing student learning?
Well, John, I am just real glad you asked me that question. Classroom management is essential to instruction because if the children aren't listening and they aren't engaged, instruction cannot take place. For many years, and we've had lots and lots of theorists come back with models on how to practice classroom management, and recently I've been doing a lot of work on William Glasser and his 5 basic needs. And I think if we look at his 5 basic needs of human need, and we can relate them to Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of motivation.
Right.
But if we look at Glasser's 5 basic needs and apply them to a classroom management situation, I think we will get some good results. Glasser suggests that if we look at those needs, survival, belonging, fun, freedom, and power, if we look at those and think about those in terms of classroom management and meeting those students' needs, we will have some good results. For example, let's take just survival. If a child is worried about bullies, if they are worried about being ridiculed by the teacher, if they are worried about their lunch being stolen, or any of those other possibilities, then their basic need of survival is not being met, that safety need of survival.
Mm-hmm.
They come to school hungry. Sometimes, oh my gosh, we can't even think about the homelessness and the problem that our schools face. But these are real issues that the classroom teacher has to face. If we can address those needs, then at least we'll have them safe in the classroom. If we look at belonging, the teacher, there have been so many studies about the classroom climate and developing a classroom climate that's conducive to instruction. If we develop a classroom where students feel like they belong, like they are part of the community, then we have met their need of belonging. Freedom is probably going to have some different ideas than what we would think freedom is. When I think of freedom in the classroom, I think of giving students choices, or we can call it differentiation, and giving them choices not only in the content and in the curriculum, but also choices in their behavior. When we talk about fun, I'm not saying we have to be stand-up comedians, although that doesn't hurt a whole lot. But I don't know that I would want to sit in a classroom for 5 or 6 hours a day and not have any fun.
Right.
If we can attach an emotion to instruction, it's going to cause more retention. So why not attach fun to it? That fun can also be fun that they are engaged in the learning process. And there are lots and lots of strategies out there that can be used to engage students in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mention power in students, I'm talking about the power to succeed. Mastery learning, that they have the power to learn. All of these ideas that I've given you are based on other theoretical models.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you anything new or that someone hasn't already written a book about. But I think Glasser's ideas of the 5 basic needs fit in perfectly well with Kunin and Gordon and Janot, when that communication. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't know that punishment is appropriate in the classroom. We're not there to punish, and we're there to instruct or facilitate instruction. Right. It amazes me that teachers and instructors will take recess away from students that misbehave. My gosh, when they're misbehaving, they're trying to tell you something. They might be saying, let me out of the seat, I got to move. Right. So what is the reason to take recess away? Get them out there on the playground or the equipment or whatever and let them work some of that energy off. That just doesn't make sense to me. Or that we send them out of the classroom as punishment for a timeout when the goal of management is to instruct. So why would we send them out of the classroom? It seems a little self-defeating. Now, I also want to say this. I don't believe in feeding students for good behavior. I feel like I'm working with my dogs. Oh, here, have a Jolly Rancher for bringing your homework in. I don't agree with that. But I had a class one year that would do anything for Jolly Ranchers. They wouldn't do anything else, but if you gave them a Jolly Rancher, they would do it. And by golly, I used Jolly Ranchers that year.
It worked.
It worked. We do what we need to do to get by. And to, I don't want to say get by. We do what we need to do to effectively do our job.
Right. You mentioned the example of the child who's possibly being punished for trying to be out of his seat and so forth. Do you think Glasser's ideas relate to Gardner's multiple intelligences in that child may be a kinesthetic learner and needs to be up and about and handling objects rather than sitting in a chair and listening to a lecture?
I don't think that we can isolate any educational theory. I think it is all intertwined. That if we look at curriculum and instruction and classroom management, that if our curriculum and our instructional methodology is effective and engaging, it's going to reduce classroom management. If we have planned for our management in the classroom, our instruction is going to be more effective. And part of that instruction includes meeting the needs of the learners instructionally. That we do need to look at their needs cognitively as well as emotional and physical.
We spoke the other